Hi, everybody. It's Julie. Happy holidays. It's Christmas Eve, and I have a couple of hacks or tips and tricks for using the Letterboard and Letterboard alphabet dies. I've got both sets sitting here so you can see what they look like. The Letterboard on the left comes with a small set of alphabet letters, and it also has some punctuation marks and emojis, and the larger alphabet set just comes with the alphabet letters and the punctuation marks, but no emojis, just so you know. And I'm going to start by taking my Nina Solar White 110 pound, and I'm going to cut it down to quarter sheet size. And there's a reason why. I like to bulk cut my letters. Now, I leave mine connected to each other for the most part. You could separate them, but I use the wire cutters to trim away that lower row of punctuation marks that I don't need as frequently as I need the actual letters themselves. And in this way, I can actually position this onto a quarter sheet of cardstock and get two passes or two sets of alphabet letters on my die cutting machine. I'm always looking to optimize my paper usage and not waste anything. So that's why I like to do this. And I'll rotate that quarter sheet there because I find when I have the die, if it's a longer die, or die set, if it's elongated, then I just get better, cleaner cuts with one pass through the machine. Now, if you're having trouble cutting through thicker materials like this 110 pound cardstock, then definitely use the metal shim that comes with the Gemini Junior. So that way you'll make sure you get a clean cut all the way through on those thicker cardstocks and such. Now here I've got the smaller set that comes with the letterboard itself, and I trimmed away all the punctuation and the emojis, and I can actually get 3 rows of these letters on the quarter sheet of cardstock by just inverting it and rotating it as I go down that quarter sheet. So like I told you, I don't like to waste any paper. So now I've got the interior of the letterboard itself. I'm going to mount that onto a piece of Essentials by Ellen black cardstock. It's an ebony color. It's a nice rich black. I love it for this. And then I've got some of that really cool wood paper. This is the cherry finish, and it comes in sticky back, but at the time that I bought mine, and I bought a lot at the time and I'm using it up, it didn't have any sticky back. Now they make it with sticky back. So I had to put some stick it on the back side, which you can do too. But now it's so convenient to have the sticky back. So after I use this all up, I'm going to get some sticky back stuff. And here I sent both of them through my Gemini Junior at the same time. And you'll notice I did use washi tape to anchor them down. And the reason for that is whenever I have multiple dies going through the machine in one pass, sometimes they shift. And I've ruined some of my dies because they shift further than I anticipated they would. So I always anchor my dies down with washi tape so I don't ruin any more of my dies. So now I've taken the interior of my letterboard here. I'm going to use some tape runner to go ahead and mount that to my base card. And this is just Nina Solar White, again, 110 pound. I love that heavy, thick weight. And I'm going to take a piece of washi tape and roll that up, stick it inside to anchor down the front of my card because it really annoys me when that pops up while I'm working. And then I'm going to take the wood frame. Gosh, I love this wood paper. And I think it creates such a cool, realistic effect. And I'm only going to partially peel this away. And now you'll see why I wanted to mount the interior of the letterboard first. This is so flimsy because it's not stable. It doesn't have anything on the interior to stabilize it. So when you're mounting it, you want to make sure that you get the interior piece mounted to your card front first, and then you can layer this over the top and you'll be so much happier when you mount the outer frame. You'll get it spot on, and I'm just peeling away that liner tape a little bit at a time and smoothing things down as I go, just making sure that I'm butted up against all the edges of that interior black piece there. And then once I'm done, I can go ahead and start grabbing all the letters that I need. Now, do you know what movie this quote is from? You get a gold star if you know. It's one of my all-time favorite holiday movies. I always have to watch it every year. So now that I've got the letters I want to work with, these are the larger letters first, I'm going to take some of that Post-it tape. This stuff is magical for lining up letters. And I'm going to trim it down just very quickly with my scissors. So I've got 4 skinny strips out of one length, and I made sure that it was wide enough that I have overhang on the left and the right. And then I'm going to line up, so they're ready to go. And then I'm going to line up my alphabet letters here. I'm just using a straight edge. An acrylic block is what I had handy, so I grabbed it. If it's easier for you to just use your grid mat, then do that. But I find that that works pretty well for me because I'm always knocking things around. I'm very clumsy. And then I'm going to take that skinny strip of Post-it tape and just run that across the top of my letters. Oops, lost my little apostrophe there. Now that is not really an apostrophe because that neither of the alphabet sets have apostrophes, but I just grabbed a little Chad from one of the die cut A's. It's just a little tiny triangle and it was perfect for making a little apostrophe there. So I'm going to do the same process with all of those letters, and then I'm lining them up temporarily on my card front just to make sure my layout is going to work the way I want it to, because I can always rearrange things because I haven't glued anything down yet. Once I'm ready to do that, I can go ahead and take off row by row and apply some Zig two-way glue pen. You could also use the Sakura Quickie glue pen. I don't know where mine is right now, so I grabbed the closest glue pen I had. If I had been thinking about it, I would have applied some Stick-It to the back of those quarter sheets of cardstock, and then I wouldn't have had to deal with glue at all. I could just peel back the liner off each of those letters as I was going, but I didn't think about that at the time. But the glue pen works pretty well for me, so it's not really that big a deal. I burnish them down with the Teflon bone folder, and that's just to make sure that they're nice and firmly glued to the card front, and then I can very carefully peel away that Post-it tape. And I am going to continue to hold, whatever is exposed of those letters as I'm going, because I do want to make sure they don't lift up inadvertently, because once I'm burnishing, that Post-it tape gets a little bit stickier, but it all comes off really nicely. And then I can go ahead and add the little dot to the exclamation point. That one's a heck of hard to get on unless you just put a little dot of glue and then grab it with a jewel picker, pop it on there. Now I already die cut my little hat here, and I put some foam mounting tape on the back of that. Just going to go ahead and mount that in place, and my card is finished. I love this. This is a perfect Christmas Eve card. And I did want to share with you how I like to keep my alphabet letters stored. Once I bulk cut them all, I sort them by letter, and I have these little containers, little plastic containers that just keep the letters all there. I don't just shove everything into one container and expect it to be easy to find the letters I need. So this way, everything's alphabetized, and whenever I need to make a letterboard card, I can just zip in there quick and grab all the letters I need, and I have them all bulk cut ahead of time. Hope you enjoyed these hacks and tips for the letterboard dies and alphabet dies. And if you enjoyed today's video, please give us a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.